Say your way. Say way. I'm gonna go. Someone I'm c'est mambo, c'est mambo, mambo, c'est mambo, 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 c'est mambo, mambo, c'est mambo, mambo, café, so bon yao. Yano, hablo. Bona me kama ke wewe o, edio nyama ke wewe o, edio nyama ke wewe. Ma be to ke yo mo wewe o, se ma bi o akore o. Mo ba yu de o, mo gure o. Ba ba bi di eni o bare o. Se mama du o akore o. Se mama du o akore o. Se ade yo mo mo. Ya fure ka o adele o. Se di be o mo gure o. Mi ka lo o mi o bare o. Se di se o mo wewe o. Se bi ji o mi o bare o. So bi za ki se. My way, my way, my way, my way. So Kisaki.
All right, we want to welcome you. Today is Friday. It's 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Taking you to Zulu Whiskey this evening. Let's go. Oh yeah, sometimes you want to go home, sometimes you want to go to that's our traditions. We have to keep our culture in place, right? All right, what a good way to start this program. Sometimes it's good to take yourself back home. The culture of our land must be enforced no matter where we are and our locations. America has its own culture, except we try to be more American. So the ultimate goal of this network is always to enforce and display the culture and the good things of Liberia. We can't just only dwell on the bamboo because bamboo pie is so ugly to the extent there's nothing good that comes out of it. But we here at Liberia Public Radio, we always here to showcase the qualities and the good aspects of Liberia. We got good music, songs, traditional songs, And some of those folks, they are still around. So we have to do that too to make our young generation, those who never had a chance, the opportunity to know these people tonight, to see them, but at least they can also hear their songs and be happy as well. Well, I'm Alfonso Z and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. To our many viewers and listeners across the globe, we want to welcome you to this evening broadcast. As usual, today is Friday, and so we got to put ourselves in the attitude of weekends almost, weekend is here. And so, to all of you, if you're first time joining us here, we wholeheartedly welcome you right here on LPR, that's Liberia Public Radio. I am your host and anchor, Alfonso Zain Salt. The Libra is on the run. So we're going to have an open mic conversation here. A lot is unfolding inside Liberia right before our own feet. And so we're going to take time to go into that. Hopefully my team of analysts and contributors, they're going to be here. And of course, to you, our valuable listeners and viewers across the globe, no matter. We do not... we just don't care about your political identity. The identity we here at Liberia Public Radio try to instill into people is that liberalization policy to be nationalist, to love your country, to project the good image of your country, and not just only the ugly aspect of it, but we must do it with authenticity to be genuine. Once we come on these microphones, and no matter who you are or where you're coming from, whatever comes out of you, you must see it to be authentic. It must be verified. It must be genuine. Because the viewers, the audience also rely on us to see what is coming out. But because of these views and conspiracy theory that we have adapted so much from the West, not even from the West, out of ourselves, it has become part of our living, our daily living, and so it has been so out there. You watch international cable network here. Still, even up to this point in time today, people still don't believe, or people still feel that the last election here in the U.S. was stolen. And the big door right now is on sanctions additional 6 months. Donald Trump, the Trumplicans, they still believe that the election was stolen. And those are the sort of conspiracies also out there in the world and even our own country. People come out and manufacture story, give it a good structure. If it's need to get makeup and put coat suit on there and like mini skirt or whatever, they put on it. It goes effectively well in the public domain. So the public, the general public, becomes confused as to how they process the news. And people go on so many outlets in search of news. And so when you come to Liberia Public Radio, you hear different news. You go to maybe Jida Talk, you hear different news. You go to SKTV, you hear different news. You go to Spoon TV, you hear different news. And the processing of those news begin to play into your mind. And the brain, the head is so small, the brain is unique. There's specific certain amount it takes in. And it's like a pellet. You don't eat more than what you're supposed to eat, right, my kid? I don't care you're hungry and starving and dying, but once that food comes before you, man, you just take that and that's exactly it. So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I'm Alfonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Welcome to this talking point. Let's get the ball rolling right now. As usual, we always like to take you to neighboring countries and other news making headlines across the globe. This one just coming from La Côte d'Ivoire. According to our correspondent based in La Côte d'Ivoire, this guy, late years on the ground, said former President Laurent Gbagbo Laurent Gbagbo is expected to arrive in La Côte d'Ivoire, despite of the government of Côte d'Ivoire defiant, and according to a group, a specific group there, saying now they cannot guarantee the arrival of Laurent Gbagbo in terms of security. So we saw that sort of conspiracy being put out there by the government recently. And so far, innocent Liberians, I would say innocent, we yet to establish the identity of those people. They were killed. So the guy you see there, former President Laurent Gbagbo of Cote d'Ivoire and Charles Blay Goody, expected in Abidjan, according to a report from our national correspondent accredited near the capital, quoting sources in the capital of Abidjan, say it, Laurent Gbagbo is expected, let's see here, the date here, on the 11th. No, on the 10th, Monday, on the 10th, Laurent Gbagbo is suspected to arrive. We will see how it plays out, but the government is not guaranteed the safety. There's a group coming up. Let me see here the name of the group coming out here now, saying the president, saying they are not guaranteed the arrival. The safety of the president. Is that coming from the national government, or is it an auxiliary or supporter of the government? We'll wait to see what that happens. But let me just give you the a little bit brief of it here. This is what the release is saying here. The collective of victims of the 2020-11 crisis intend to demonstrate next Monday, the 10th, against the announced returns of Cote d'Ivoire former President Laurent Gbagbo and Charles Blay Goody, the two Ivorians recently acquitted by the International Court of Justice as ICC. According to Ishakata Dabi, the president of Collective Victim, it is not for the authorities of Cote d'Ivoire to guarantee Gbagbo's safety. So who is this guy and on whose behalf is speaking? But we note that few has been there, and current President Alassane Dramane Ouattara has been telling the international community that if he to Laurent Gbagbo to return to Ivory Coast, there will be some political or instability. Now it seems like a group or an attachment of the Ivorian government with this group here, a collective of victims, is being created. We don't know yet. It will be unfair to render that judgment 100%, but this seems to be in support of the government. We're going to wait and see come Monday. Today's what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But we saw what unfolded recently regarding our burners. So let's play, let's hope and see here. What more other international news coming from out of Liberia. Let's see here, a prominent Nigerian woman, former Minister of Government, Nigeria ex-Minister of Women Affairs, Ashat Jumant Al-Hassan, aka Mamant Toruba, dies according to the channel's television reporting from Nigeria at the age of 61. She served as a former Minister of Women Affairs in the Republic of Nigeria. But an untimely demise, according to latest news coming from Nigeria, 7 hours ago, it was announced on state televisions and radio stations as well. Okay, let's see. And also back in our own country, the Republic of Liberia. Yeah, the president, His Excellency George Manon Weah, Bakube, Barrow Medicines, and all of the names that you can call, is on the tour, fourth tour in the country. He's currently in Greenville, Sano County. Liberia Public Radio National correspondent Emmanuel Jipo is embedded with the presidential team or tour, along with other court of journalists. They are in Greenville, Sano County. To date, Emmanuel managed to file in this report in the live broadcast. My senior guest, They call in the firing power of LPR. Amos George is standing by in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be breaking here. But let's see, for those who didn't have a chance to see what unfolded in the southeastern side of Liberia, Greenville, Sano County. I was in Sano in 1975, 76 within that time gap. I went to school there. Demonstrations is my former school. Let's go right there and see what Bakube is doing.
That's what for another, and we are back in course right now to bring you this start of with the president of Liberia and the people of Greenville City.
Ooh, is that a tariff? Is that a tariff going on here? It's massive. That's the president of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Weah, there in Greenville, Sano County on his fourth leg tour. Okay, so it brings me to the talking point here this evening. And all of us, we want to engage everybody to see if we can have that sort of civil conversation, because I'm trying to process this, trying to find an answer, but yet to get. So this is where you're going to bring us to here this evening in this conversation. And perhaps Amos George or Professor Zawlo will possibly help out, including yourself. Let's generally talk about some of the critical things you have in your mind about Liberia. Is the president of the Republic of Liberia gradually gaining ground unknowingly to the opposition? Of course, when we talk about gaining ground, we talk about political ground. Let's have a conversation. And who is hurting the opposition within the opposition? What a double package conversation here this evening. So we're going to do a surgical operation and see where we are heading. Amos George is standing by in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be breaking in a split second. Welcome to this program. I'm Afonso Zienso.
I just want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, this is our own way of salutations right here on the Liberia Public Radio for sharing your evening, hour, morning, daytime with us. You could have found something else to do, but you value to what is coming out of your country, and you are concerned and eager to know what is happening. So it's our own way of creating that salutation. Do you remember those days in Liberia, Lpr-Tv? The Mopper Show, but this one here is a similar Mopper because we are in a Western land. Let's get the conversation going right now. Woo! Okay, let's see here. Time check in the East Coast is 8:23 Eastern Standard Time. Amos George is standing by in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's get the ball rolling right here. Mr. George is there from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. And he is called the Firing Power. Yeah, anytime his missiles can land on people. Mr. George, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Two. How you doing this evening?
Good to have you here. I would say we want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. The president, Dr. I believe that's the name called, right? Dr. George Weah, and all of the other auxiliary names attached. He's currently in, you saw the little image here, and I know you are a news freak like myself, why some of the images coming from Sano here. Today, he's still in there. Is this president gradually gaining ground and the oppositions gaining ground unknowingly to the opposition, or are the oppositions keeping their eyes on the ball as well? Who is hatching the opposition within the oppositions? I know it's all over mixed up question here, but let's start with the conversation first. Is the president gradually gaining ground unknowingly to the opposition?
No.
Oh,
Maybe the president may be gaining ground with his supporters. But with the Liberian people, I would say no. Secondly, maybe the popularity wise, maybe they might say, but this is something traditional in Liberia. Everywhere the president traveled, maybe you saw Do on the tour. You saw a massive turn up to see President Do, the late Samuel Kanyan Do. So that has not changed. Whether good or bad, people will still show up to see the president. Will that translate into vote? I'm willing here to see. Because the biggest thing here is that the social well-being of the people, if it is not changed, what that popularity means.
So basically, you have come to the conclusion that the traveling, the tours of the president across the country more or less is there to energize his base, the Liberians. You trust the Liberian electorate? Have they decided? Is that just a political charade or what? Is that how you see it?
No, it's not political charade. But normally, this is one of the duties of the president to tour the country. According to them, to make an assessment to see how much progress they have made and how much changes they need to make. But I'm saying after 3 years, what is unfolding in Liberia, the question is, you ask the voter. Let me go to Sano County. The 3 years, what have changed in their lives?
He was speaking, by the way, not to interrupt you. You listened to the other video he was speaking through today? Connecting, trying to. Oh yeah, I'm not sure what is in this clip that we have, but I was monitoring. Yeah, he was speaking. It's like back to his root, and he was telling the people, "I am your son. I'm here. I was demonized. I tried to empathize and lay that soft political message to the ordinary people. And there are so many ways we Liberians and people try to process, comprehend, and take in, because there are other people who like to see for people to empathize with them. And those are the things you're saying. I say, I don't know nothing. I can't lead. I'm a grown man. I was a football. Those were the sort of sound bites we start hearing in the 2017, and potentially a big baby, it resonated with the people, and he was elected to president. And then he said, I have come to tell you, thank you. I know your conditions. I know the plight of what is happening. Those are things that other people take in, but to what extent it's going to be they will take it and it will be acted on. That's yet we will see when the real time comes. But are you saying you want to put a nail on the head? That's part of all of that. Will it not pay off? Will you not see some other people switching, changing their minds to say, oh, in fact, this is what these people say he was doing. And his whatever dedication to Robin was calling and all of that. Don't you see that it's going to affect some people's decision-making process?
Oh, no, so obviously. I always say the devil in the bush got friends. I always say this. The devil's in the bush got friends. So if anybody come and sit down here, President we are going to Sano, or some people will not vote for President we are, you can't, then you are delusional. There are people who are down there supporting a President we are, whether he does wrong or not, they support him. But to repeat those words, but now, it's just complete nonsense. That has nothing to do with his function now. He is the president. So what the people say about you 2017, 2016, 15, that you are not educated, that has no bearing now. You are not the president. So that is a poor excuse for me. It's not what you can deliver. That is what you should be talking about.
What is the game you think he's? What is the game that he's playing right there?
That is the campaign. He went kid when he repeated something like that. If the people vote for him again, that's the campaign. But that line will not work. It's complete baloney.
Do you trust the Liberian electorates?
Well, I don't want to. The Liberian electorates, they are highly sophisticated people. Let me put it this way: they can read between the lines. And what I'm continuing to say is that
Sophisticated what? In which context? I'm not sure that sophistication you are talking about. There is no evidence that it has reality bear out. And let me just get to my point, and I'm going to turn that over to you. Okay, the Liberian electorates are sophisticated, according to you, in your own words. What we saw the last time around, there was a slogan, there was a song, you came my you came my, I will vote for you. And a Western journalist termed that as Liberia is heading, it's like a ship with an unknown technician. You know what it means to be on the seat, on the vessel, and you do not have a technician as well. We saw that playing out again in 2017. You know, bro, I don't know, bro, we're going to carry you and all of that. So there is a big apprehension with me when it comes to the decision making of the Liberian electorates and as to how they go about. So I don't know. Maybe the 21st century is going to change the political dimension, but still that uncertainty is still there with me. Go ahead.
yes, Mr. So I will not come here to say the Liberian electors are not smart or intelligent people. If I say so, then I'll be insulting our people. But there are conditions sometimes that force people to take decisions that they really don't want to take, but the condition prevailing circumstances make them to take the decision. People have lived in agile politics for a very long time. And secondly, the Unity Party government, there's no way the people would have given it that chance after what they have, after what they saw on President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf at the end of her term, massive corruption and other things. So, President was the alternative they saw. They concluded that, hey, this was all right because they didn't want to go back to the Unity Party government. It's not that they were not sophisticated. But what I'm saying is that I would not want to prejudge them and to say that they are not smart, they don't know what they're doing, then I will be insulting our people.
No, what I say, I just not trust. I say I do not trust.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. That is your belief, and everybody have their own belief for various reasons. And I always say, when snake boy one place, the next time if you see a dead one or one, you run away from there. So this is where some people speak from. But we saw what happened in Mosorado when Thomas Fowler poured in a whole lot of money that they were even calling him ATM machine. He did not pull that election out. And that could tell you sometimes our people make the right decision. But coming back again to President Weah, I think if I'm not mistaken, President Weah have made 132 or 33 pledges on his candidate tour. Now,
are you doing the facts? Are you fact checking the president?
I do. The people, I scroll through the papers.
Is a fact checking? Is it broadened or is just on the government?
I did front page or another people. I did it front page or did it also. And the question here is, promises are good. Delivering is another thing. So these promises are very necessary. I love them. But how they're going to be delivered is another question. The implementation of those promises is another question.
Okay.
So, Charlie, I won't go back to the point here.
So let me just halt you there and welcome my favorite professor of all times. He's the CEO of two technical schools in Liberia, giving back to the community. Very smart. His professorship is like well-seasoned type of politician. I see him as a diplomat. I mean, the way he's kind of go in. So let's welcome here and see how we can bring this conversation to an equilibrium, because you have already saying that the president tour is not getting grant. I'm not sure what a Professor ACC Labo Zaro going to go in there. Let's see who is who. Professor, just adjust your camera and maybe if you can give them more light, that would be okay.
At the end of the day, if the social well-being has changed for the past 3 years, then they can make that judgment. If you cannot afford a daily meal, you cannot afford to send a child to a good clinic, to a good hospital. In the past year, under the CDC-led government, and today, President, we are coming to champion you that look, the people say I'm not educated, which of course has no bearing on this conversation that he's the president of Liberia. So to tell people that he was not educated, he's not educated, that's complete nonsense. Okay, he's not the president of the Republic of Liberia. He should do the people job. He asked for it, they gave it to him. But I'm seeing if this campaign going around making all the promises, fine. But with that change, the living condition of the common man and the common man living condition can change. They should be tangible that they can feel it, not just saying it.
All right. Okay.
If someone paying $5 for a cup of regular paying $6, if that is a change for betterment, then okay, you can vote in the CDC-led government again. And that's what, if you can't get access to clean water, you cannot get access to health care, school. But yeah, boy, say the change is okay. If that is definition, that's perfect with me.
Okay, good. Well, I welcome my little T, one of our prompt followers and contributor here. Guy always make a donation here. Okay, Professor, I don't want to do a kind of gossip, but I think you get a gist of what the firebrands of LPR, Amos Joy from Atlanta, Georgia. There was a rhetorical question. Is the president gradually gaining ground, unknowingly to the opposition? The guy said, no, there is nothing. The president is not doing nothing. He is doing to appease or to get to his people. And we also want to know, is the opposition, who is hurting the opposition within the opposition? But let's go on the president tour. Is there any political dividend? How can you debunk the argument of Amos George? Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. So. Thank you. Greetings, Mr. George. At least you got us on the right time now, not 2 hours early, right? He called us 2 hours early today, right?
Oh, yeah. I will read your post and I'm just sticking down and I see everybody picking up block.
All right. Yeah, but the president tour is not about gaining ground, which he never lost in the first place. It's not political. It's more like familiarization with the people, condition of the people, having sat in the presidency for a while. The tour is overdue. The president intended to have made that tour during his first year of his incumbency as president. The economic challenges confronting the government functioned against the effectuation of that tour. Then came 2019, right? The president's schedule was formulated and the tour should have started, I think, in March. And then we're hit with two crises back to back. One, we had a crisis at the Freeport. This was a result of years of neglect by the previous government. And then that was compounded right after the gasoline, the Freeport situation was resolved and gas was able to enter the country.
Was that a previous government as well?
The situation of the gasoline not entering the country was because of poor maintenance of the port by previous government and the ugly contracts that were signed by previous government. Governments are continuity, so the president takes full responsibility of the fact that he could not, have mitigated those challenges prior to the consummation of the problem. But once the problem was resolved, then we got the world got hit with COVID-19. So the president tour couldn't take place. The COVID-19 lasted about a year. It's still ongoing, but the situation in Liberia has improved. So the president began to go into his country to familiarize himself with the challenges of his people. And what he's finding out is that the people are saying, "Man, you are doing well." There was a story about a president who said that, "At least you made me to see one president in my life." This guy has been living for 100 years, I think. He had never seen a president. He never heard that. He never thought that his village was good enough for a president to visit. This president visited his village and, in fact, built a house for him. So, the president has been received very well all across Liberia, and people understand the challenges he's faced with, and they know that together with the president, they will resolve those challenges. And so they're not putting the blame on the wrong person. They know where the blames are. They know where the blames are supposed, who the blame is supposed to be placed on. But the people in Liberia right now, they're not really concerned about who is at fault or who is not at fault. They are looking ahead. They are looking at the president's vision to mechanize agriculture. To, prior to the commencement of the president's trip, the president had an agriculture fair, right? There was an agriculture fair. So these are the things that people are looking towards. They are looking towards getting into the soil to be able to, diversify our economy. They are looking towards the fact that their communities are being connected with paved roads, and where not possible right now, their farms are being connected to markets by feeder roads. Those are the things that the people are happy about. It's not that the president is trying to game them. He's going to go into them and tell them, this is what we are doing. And the people say, no, you don't need to come and tell us. We see it. Great job, Mr. President. That's why they are dancing. That's why there's fanfare. That's why there's pageantry wherever the president goes. You don't see people crying. You see people celebrating him.
Yeah, let me ask this question here. The issue of this past government. I'm wondering what are the incoming coalition to the CDC-led coalition government? What are the new? They were to encounter problems. Do you think so? The government?
If they thought the government that was before them, if they thought the existing government was an injury, they wouldn't have found a political party to challenge it. So they were aware of those problems, and they had put in place programs and policies to address some of those problems. There are some problems. There are some situations that are conservatives, and they don't just resolve like so quickly. They are not They don't have the self-cleansing ability or fast-changing ability. They stay on. They linger for a while, and it's. So
I was wondering here whether there was some sort of revisions or turning over by these ministries, agencies of government from previous government to the incoming to know where they are, how things stand, the conditions, and perhaps maybe they will have had a conversation with it. Hey, you turned over this here, but I'm saying this, and this document is not available. I don't think that was very comprehensive in terms of when the Helen Johnson-Sirleaf group was going and the CDC coalition government were coming in. I'm not sure whether they were extensive in that sort of conversation. Do you think so?
Yeah, if you play your tapes here, you're going to see that I've spoken about this thing, several times. I said that there was a proper transition that took place. The president and this government was very much concerned about presenting a picture to future presidents that leading power does not necessarily mean that you will be persecuted or so. So we're more interested in continuity than witch hunting. So the president accepted in some areas in good faith that the documents that he was served were correct, accurate to the best of the knowledge of the people who supply those documents. As the government began to take more profound analysis of those documents presented, discrepancies began to were unearthed, and the government began to raise those concerns with those people who just departed government. And you know that former Finance Minister Amara Kone, former Finance Minister Baka Kamara, all of those people have spoken about some of the things. They disagree with some, but they could not provide documentation to clear the air. So those things were not something that the government saw and just they didn't do anything about. The government has raised concerns about those things, even with the international.
All right, I get a background here. Is that coming from you?
Some funding from them.
Okay, much better. All right. This guy, I got a soothsayer here. He reads my mind. So there are two questions here. Let me put it. We always like to engage our onliners. Mr. Eugene Harry, he said, if this so, then why? Okay, I want to believe what's stopping this government from calling the past government for investigations? That here's one to them. My key is so why are they complaining? So, and I believe why we should still be talking about past government, when there was a proper transitions, when everything seems to have been perfect, and nobody was held accountable, nobody was brought before a commission to say, hey, this is lacking, what's going on? We need to get to the bottom line. So then why should we be making reference to Helen Johnson-Sirleaf? Oh, they want to rest now. Why should we be calling her name around here?
So why do you guys keep asking about As long as those questions keep coming about what the CDC government knew what it was getting into or not, then it behooves us to answer that way. That's one. Two, the absence of what we would call audit.
Let me see, Professor. I come in, Professor. Mr. Joy, do you have something on that? Because when you come and we get some sort of feedback.
No.
Man, want me dry rice. I think that
No, I got a fan on. That's all.
Okay, but that's why I think that's where is interfering. That where the audio. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. I think you, Doc. I think you go. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
So as long as we keep having to answer those questions, then we'll have to keep providing those answers that we provided. And again, like I said, what do you mean by what's stopping them from investigating? Investigations are going on. You got a former Minister of Defense who was persecuted and convicted. You got a whole listing of over 30 former government officials who are on the asset recovery.
Brani Samuka?
Yeah, you got several former government officials who are on the asset recovery list.
I think Brani seems to be like a chew gum and seems to be like a right reference person with this government, correct?
So who you want to be reference person? You want Mr. George to be the reference person? He didn't serve the previous government, so we can't use him as a reference person. We use the corrupt individuals from the previous government as reference individuals. And Brani Samuka is a poster child of being government. He failed the Liberian people, he embezzled, he misused the people funds, and so today he's paying the full price for it. So
you really want to talk about corruption?
I want to talk about how we can move Liberia forward, but in the process of
you're talking about it. But let me hold you there.
I will talk about corruption.
Let me just hold you there. You talk about shifting the person not visiting the rural part of the country because of certain reasons. The port issue mentioned, the information is not correct.
Okay.
The information that the port supposed to be dragged every 10 years. And when Ellington was leaving, the 10 years has not elapsed. When Bill Travel took over, it was under that administration. The port should have been dragged. He didn't do it, but you shifting the blame on the past government. When the gasoline shortage hit, people were stealing gasoline from Lpr-Tv. Your government fired someone and turned the person to prosecution, one Brown. Today, we have not heard anything of that case since that gasoline shortage. Only your government said that one Brown, one of the deputy director, was responsible. You allege the thing over. Hold on. You allege the thing over. We still yet waiting to see that prosecution of that person that worked under your government. This excuse about president not visiting because of these challenges, no. President take plane, go to country for birthdays, for anniversary, for inauguration. They can afford that money, but they could not take that money to do a country tour. That's serious. The CDC government is, and to come to put this in as an excuse, it will sound to me, Professor Zawo.
Okay, let's give the professor a chance. Now, Professor, Amos George, instead of giving us a salad and some sort of soft dinner this sort of evening hour, he's had a cook cassava, no oil and nothing, no pepper to even water down my throat. Is he making a valid point?
No, he's not making a valid point. You see, he told about the president's international responsibilities and domestic engagements. While the president continued to engage Liberians every day by putting into place programs and policies and ensuring that his able lieutenant and the superintendents are doing their job efficaciously, he still has a responsibility to perform Liberia's international obligations, one of which is engagement of his colleagues in ECOWAS and ECOWAS nations. The ECOWAS people, they presented their citizens as sacrifice to get our country to where we are today. So we always have to play that role in ECOWAS that the president is playing, even in the whole West African region. So even with the challenges we have as a people, internationally, the president has to be present and engaged and involved in conflict resolution, in promoting regional peace and economic collaboration. That's what the president is
using a private jet.
it doesn't matter what the president uses to travel. If the president has a private jet, I can take him to go there. You don't know whether the cost of using a private jet is cheaper than renting it or getting a flying on a passenger commercial airline. You don't know. I don't know whether you know the cost. I don't know, but that's what I'm asking.
Who paid the maintenance insurance of that jet?
Okay, do you know who is doing it?
That's why I want to know if it's fine. One of the I follow the bill.
Your assertions here is making an insinuation that.
Let's give me a chance, and then you.
Here are providing an insinuation that the president. Yeah. Okay. So here's what you said. He's making trips using a private jet. So is the assumption
am I lying? Am I lying?
No.
So,
but your assumption.
Mr. Joy, let's do it this way. He's laying out. You have all right to debunk him, but he's laying out. Allow him to make his argument, and then you can come, because it's not just for three of us. We have people that are following, so that will follow the two of the Professor, go ahead.
That's true, Mr. Silver. In fairness to Mr. George, sometimes you have your point, you want to put it on through, put it there, you got it? You want to put it through quickly, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with Mr. George coming in like that. I know he doesn't mean anything, anything harmful. But here's the thing, you are insinuating that by flying on a private jet, the cost is more than taking a commercial flight. That's your insinuation, and that's what I asked you. Do you know the cost for the private jet versus the cost for the commercial flight? Do you know the difference in it? No, you don't. And so you cannot rush to conclude.
Now, let me just jump here a little bit and play the devil advocate here as a facilitator here.
Yeah.
Professor, do you have an idea? Do you know how much it costs?
No, I don't know. But I know the president will make a sagacious decision, and that's what I know.
As a government of transparency, accountability, and they have spoken this in the past. They have come to change the old way of doing things. And Liberia being a poor country, I remember the late John Makafuli, when he came, one of the austerity measures that he took was to say, hey, people go into big hotels and all of that. I don't need that. Delegations of presidents and everything, they were all downsized. You want to have meeting, fund office, government places. You who needs to ride a pickup, get into a pickup. Those are the kind of, it might be same little, but those are, they should stop renting hotels, big facility, and paying government paying a lot of money. Those are some concrete measures they were taking because they know where the country was coming from. And now with all of these sort of speculations and saying, like what Mr. George was saying, I'm wondering, what are the CDC-led government has come out publicly to say, hey, Liberian people, hold on. Every day the president flying jet plane, the president going this and that. This is the cause. This is how it looks there. Have they really laid down that? Have they effectively communicated that with the Liberian people?
Yeah, they've done. John Magufuli did not inherit a country like Liberia. John Magufuli's country did not go to war for over 14 years. In John Magufuli's country, you don't have somebody come on the radio and threaten to drag the president on Broad Street.
So that making insecure a private commercial plane?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Oh. Mr. Syria laid down many things that John Magufuli did. He was having meetings in this place, he was having meetings in that place, he was doing this and doing that. When the country comes from a 14-year civil war, and you have insurrectionists in the guise of politicians who are getting on radio and threatening to drag the president along the street of Broad Street, the president cannot take those kind of actions that.
Is it a security risk for the president or the government of Liberia?
Of course, we will not subject the president to go to certain places where we cannot guarantee his safety there. People are threatening.
I've just called in this individual.
So where was he going with the commercial jet that threatened his security?
No, that's not what I haven't reached the commercial jet issue. I'm just telling him why perhaps meetings are not held in certain locations. Now, again, I go back with the commercial jet versus the private jet you talk about. I say to you, unless you can provide me with the finances, with the financials of those two different options, I cannot tell you whether this one is better or this one. But here's what I know. I know the president's a smart man. He will make the best decision in the interest of Liberian people. I'm very positive. if it will cost less for him to fly on a commercial jet and his security would be guaranteed as advised by his security forces, he would do that. I don't think the president needs to make sure. Look,
so all these actions, are they executive action? Before I go to Mr. George, are these executive action, or is in consonant with his economic team reviewing everything, the status of the country financially, and they all took that decision?
Yeah, he has to consult with the economic management team. He also has to consult with the security forces, the joint security. The joint security said, President, it's okay for you to fly on this kind of plane, or it's okay not to fly. It's not okay for you to fly on that plane. It's based on the instructiveness of those security reports and economic reports that the president would make a decision in the interest of the national security of the country to choose one or the other. Okay. So you're not in the seat, what's going on behind the seat.
Okay.
So
Mr. George.
Yeah. Let me say,
what's the contrast?
Here's the contract. Under the Liberian law, the president if the president receives anything more than $200 as a gift, that should be reported to the Liberian people.
Yeah.
He said this plane was a gift from a friend. Nobody saw that report to the government of Liberia. This plane he's talking about is cheap. I don't have the figure now, but saying he said it's cheaper, where's the figure that he has to show me too? He don't have it. So the both of us are speculating. But here's the thing here. I want to know why the government had not told the Liberian people who paid for the maintenance of this plane as it parked on the terminal. Who paid the insurance? How much it cost to fly the jet? We're supposed to know the thing. It is incumbent upon the government to make those documents available to us.
Additionally, when you're going over another country's airspace, it has to be paid for.
It has to be paid for. You land in that country, you got to pay for it. Where is the document that the government of Liberia, Honor George, we are presented to the Liberian people, say, look, you see the cost of me flying the private jet, and you see the cost of me flying the commercial jet. These are the figures. Professor is a number man. So if you do the mathematics, this private jet is cheaper than the flight of commercial jet. We are not seeing that. But Professor wants us to assume that it is cheap. And if the government is transparent, why these documents have not been presented to the Liberian people? And we continue to ask this question. So Professor will come here to assume, since I had not provided document, then he cannot agree that the private jet is too expensive until I can provide a document. But he don't have anything to show me to convince me or the public that the commercial jet is higher than the private jet. These are the doubts that we'll continue to ask. If the president is working for the Liberian people, the government is under obligation to provide us those information. Is the plane being rented? If it is a gift, who gave it to him? Under what condition? For transparency, these documents should be provided to us. It's not secret. And if he's saying the president's life is threatened, well, yeah, the president is handled. He has a security team. He has toured almost all of the country. Nobody has done anything to threaten his life. And if he goes to some renegade or what are making threat, the citizens, the government, the people in the government have made similar threat to other people like in Liberia. So to say that, it is just an excuse. It is just poor excuse to say because the person's life was threatened by somebody, and therefore, based on that advice, the person has a right. If the security advice is fine, but that is not an excuse. He been to Basso, Grand Gita, Bonkande, Kidmon, Bomi, all the area. Nobody has threatened his life. So I don't know where that argument came from. But what I'm saying here is the cost of this plane. Once we have not gotten the cost of the plane and the Liberian people, it is their responsibility to be informed because the president is acting on their behalf and it is the resources. So we cannot sit down here and say it's cheap or he should do it. No, he can do it with proper accounting ability, proper accounting that should be presented to the Liberian people. So that issue, it's a waste of money.
Okay, let's see
I mean,
before we go to something, let me see whether the professor have something to add. So let me ask this question: do you think at some point in time we will come to a full understanding to kind of quiet down all of this talking drum studio? Do you think the government will come out at some point in time and say, you know what, enough is enough, and this is why it is? Do you think somebody can provide an explanation?
No, I don't think somebody will provide that explanation. I don't think somebody should take up their precious time to answer such triviality. I
Why?
think what the government will be focusing on right now is that the government.
Why somebody cannot answer that question?
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges this government should be concerned about than rather people who want to speculate.
so Professor, are you saying that?
So it seems our speculation is being legitimized.
Of course.
It's left with
If I have an apprehension of something about you, and people are arguing this is not a profession, don't you think it is within your purview to kind of like quiet down things by coming up with answers, some sort of a tangible, maybe documentations or some convincing point, so you just sweep it under the rug like that?
No, we're not sweeping
No,
under
he
the
said
rug.
the librarians are not important.
No, I didn't tell you that.
Oh, you said there are many other things, and you talk about transparency. You're using the money, and you say you cannot talk about that.
No, but here's what I told you. I didn't tell you say librarian poor, but I would never say
But
that.
that's
I
what
said
you say. The president has more things to talk
more
about.
important things to do for our people than to be answering.
But the money is spending. The money is spending. You don't think the people have the right to know about it?
The people have the right to know what the money is being spent on.
Okay, but then why are you refusing?
But they know what the money is being spent on. The money is being spent on. The money is being spent on.
Mr. Joyce, Professor Joyce, I don't think we are reached that level. We don't have any insurance like your pressure and everything seems.
I'm sorry.
Don't allow the professor to get on your screen here. He's
out of my skin.
I told you here. This guy is supposed to be a diplomat because I never saw him even from in the Euler cycle when all these noise and holo were going on. When people talking, he says quietly, process what you say, and just give it a phrase, and that's it. But I see you now, your pressure, your cholesterol, everything is trying to go over.
I'm just asking him because we have to be very clear.
Okay.
It's saying that the Liberian people have no right to know.
Okay, so
what the president paid
responding one, so we'll change gear to one of the look at what is happening within the opposition column.
I said to you that the Liberian people don't have to ask the question what's happening to their money. They don't have to ask the question what happened to the taxpayers' money. On each stop of the president trip, a new project is being dedicated. Communities are having school buildings that they never had in the over 170-year history of our country.
What is school buildings?
All across the country. All across the country.
How many schools?
Some dedicated.
Wait. How many schools you have built since you came to power?
Okay. Next time I come, I'll give you the number. But
I'll
tell you one thing.
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing. Right now, before the next 2 year ends, there will be at least 12 new high school built across the country.
Professor Johnson can build. We want to see.
So let me tell you.
Not in promises. We want to see.
Like I told you,
reality.
It's not about promise. It's not about promise. We got $47 million dedicated to that. Not only to build new.
The person had not revealed that to the Liberian people.
Well, he revealed it. Maybe you're not being informed. So check your sources. It's an open secret.
You can just tell me because he on a tour.
That program is called Improving Results in Secondary Education. It's called iRise. Not only that, not only will we build about 12 junior and senior high schools, we're going to put money in the pockets of young women who are leaving school in droves, who are leaving school for the 12 years of President Salif. We're going to put money into their pockets to keep them in school. We're going to help them with the basic products they need to stay in school. We equip them with cell phones. We'll give them data time. We'll move mobile computer labs all across the country in 5 different counties in the next 2 years. This is not promised.
Which county is going to be beneficiary? Do you know?
The Sino, I think Bong. I have to check it up and give you those information the next time. But yeah, a lot of counties are going to be benefiting, not just Montserrado. And in fact, most parts of Montserrado will not benefit from it. And so those are things that's happening. And we have
Professor,
mobile computer labs,
those are
mobile
proposals.
computer labs,
We are not
mobile
saying
science labs all across the country.
those
So
are proposals. We are not saying
They
it.
are proposals.
Those are not proposals. We are not saying it.
Okay, so okay, guys, let's hear.
Mr. So, please post it on your page. Let Liberian people go and check for iRise. IRISE.
iRise.
Improving results.
How many times we are not
IRISE.
Before the school bill bill,
Hold on, let's see now.
leaking school
All
bill.
right.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
We see
iRise.
this.
that's it.
Yeah,
Leaking
check
school
for the
bill.
iRise. Just once the Google on iRise Liberia, it will come up. And they can
Okay.
read on it.
Yeah, let's
That's
see
good.
here.
That's good thing. But if it comes to fruition, because we see all the promises, it doesn't come true. Yes, school right in Morovia, in the backyard of the president, leakage all over.
Okay.
Schools have been renovated.
Which one?
Okay, quickly here. Let's do it. I had to do this, but we talk all different things here. I just want to give a little bit sign bite of this here, then we're going to get to your reaction. Then we're going to go to the. By the way, according to our guys, the president concludes a day-long dialogue in the McCounty before going here. Let's see this guy. I don't know why everybody likes lobbying the media. Let's see this one here.
Yeah, His Excellency Dr. George Manuhuya. So, Mr. Tabata, welcome to the press.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you.
So, how you doing? How you feeling now?
I'm okay. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling relaxed at home.
So, you followed the peace talk yesterday. What's your take on that?
I did follow the peace conference yesterday, and because they really take this time to appreciate President George Manuhuya, and he showed a leadership yesterday. I would like to appreciate him for what he did yesterday. It takes a man to do that. And being eligible in Select Township could not do this. Eligible in Select administration could not do this. Because President William did extremely well yesterday. That some of us now, we are happy to even tell our people that we should listen to him, we should work with him. Because what he did yesterday, calling orange tribal leaders from Lima County, he interacted with our people yesterday. And
okay, let me leave you on the screen there a little bit here. Pa George.
Let me say this.
Should we? Is it a sort of traditions, or how can we? He's come today now. You know, we're gonna do this with the president. The next day, the president should do this. Is this what we're gonna be having from time to time?
Nonsense on Mike Jabadeh part. Nonsense. Mike Jabadeh, I told you for the last time, and I would not back down from it. I said Mike Jabadeh speak to different certain group of his clansmen. Mike Jabadeh, I got to know there's a Jabadeh family involved in the land issue. There are, I think, 3 families. One of the Jabadeh happens to be involved in that land issue. Now, I don't know whether that Jabadeh is related to Mike, and he had not come to clarify that issue. Now, for him to say, what person we had did, Ellen Johnson never did that, that's just been disingenuous. That just be unfair. There were people in Nima that got some settlement, but I still land.
Go further down in his indicted where it's a Liberty Party
yeah, but I'm coming to that. There were people who benefited from that land settlement in Nima, I think in Bom, and also in Lofa. So how Mike Jabadeh can come here to say Ellen Johnson did not do anything? What person we are doing? He's the only person who doing it. You see, this is why I tell people, when we go on the extreme, we have to be very careful because the records are there. He said, Hassan Bilete, Musa Bilete, received money from the UN, and people were paid in Nima. They received the money, but the people refused to leave the premises, those premises, and the government did not do anything to enforce the order. What Mike Jabadeh said the last time, he did not explain to the Liberian people. He was trying at local head that the minor people now taking the Mandingo people land away. He did not lay the facts that there are 3 formalists involved in the issue. It's not the entire ethnic group. But Mike Jabata came and assumed that was the Mandingo versus the Mano people, which I said Mike Jabata was not the right messenger for this issue because he has his own motive. He was not speaking the truth. And this is why it comes down to the same Chief Justice that he accused. That if the
same police he accused, that's the same police asked the government to send the police and AFL.
You see that? So
okay,
these are things I talk about people. When you want to raise the issue, these are national issue. It has implication. Be honest to the public that you are talking to. But Mike Jabata, I say, he doing it to gain some relevance within the Mandingo community, so he can be look like some champion of the Mandingo people cause, but which is absolutely wrong. The last I want to say about he talked about, President, we are not giving job to the local Mandingos in Nimba. Hey, look, let me say to the Mike Jabata, if I Loma man or Kisi man, if I join a political party and that party win, I will love my job there. But you cannot say that if you don't participate within the political process, political party.
That's the image here of the photo, the president meetings. You see Senator Prince Johnson and other officials in that whatever settlement, and we learned that what $20,000 were given to those people whose homes were demolished or so.
So here's the issue here. These tribal sentiments, if you want to participate in the political process, join a political institution. But if you don't want to join a political institution and you say you must just sit outside the pool, go and take job and get it because you are just I don't think it's unfair.
Okay,
join any political party. So if you join a political party, you can get a job.
Okay. Professor, you want to respond to that?
Come in on that. Look, I don't know about Jabata, and I know I've heard about him, being in opposition, coming to CGC, another time trying to get back on the fence. But I think I don't know, Mr. George, if you are fully aware of the land issue in Nimba.
I found some story.
To accuse Mike Jabata of trying to sow seeds of discord on tribal lines, I think it's unfair to Mike Jabata.
What does your view?
I'm a Mano. And I know, I hear what my cousins, what my brothers, what my sisters, what my aunts are saying. The situation in Imakane is serious. And the ill treatment of Mandingos is a concern to some of us Manos. I know a lot more about that land, and I wouldn't want to, it's something that is so close to me and very, very it's so touching to me that I won't, it would be a wonderful thing to bring some of the people who are some of the other Nimbayans, Mr. So maybe we need to think about doing that. Bring some other Nimbayans, bring some other people from the Mandingo ethnic group, bring some Manos, bring some Gio on this show so to talk about it. Our people have not treated the Mandingos the right way, and it's unfortunate that those things are happening. It might be a small family land issue you're talking about. In this case, might be whatever the situation. You might want to restrict it to a family where 3 factions of the family will be fighting, but it's more than that.
But
it's a lot more than that, and for some of us, we know it. But just like I know, Mr. So, you guys have the same thing in Granji there. In Granji, that you have factions of the, you have different currents of the crime. You got the Chiam people, you got the other Pedro, you got all the
always there.
It's all in Bongkade.
So we have our own thing, and so some of us have relatives who have children by. I have some of my aunts who have children by Japates. By the way. And so it's a very close. It's an issue that.
Okay. I know all of these things to get a bottom line. Unfortunately, sometimes we just know the surface, and we don't know the deeper part of the story.
I don't know the genesis of this case, but this particular case, according to Mr. Ability and other, they said there are 3 formally involved in this case. 3. I am not speaking about the entire Nima County. I'm talking about 3 formally that is involved in the particular case. That is the case I'm speaking about. I'm not talking about the entire Nima County, because the plan did not come from the entire Nima County. The plan came from the second quarter.
So yeah,
it is that reference I'm making to Majabate. And Majabate put it in the content at the time that it was Mano versus Madingo. That was the content.
And that issue has to be resolved. Mr. Josh, maybe what Mike Tabate is doing is to draw the attention of the country to the broader issue of Mano versus Madingo. And I tell you the truth, I'll be very honest.
Argument, even though there are a lot of silly things you always talk, you throw a lot of red meat out there. But if you listen to the other tape, I say, well, we're going to get poor attention, and they get a poor attention now. So, in fact, right now he's a humanitarian Ghana. Okay, in the last 45 minutes or 40 minutes that we have here, let's see here. Pa George.
Yeah,
I want you to start with that. You are the blazer on this network here. Let's look at the opposition. Who is hurting the opposition within the oppositions? Is any of the groups hurting the process? Is if they are serious to unseat CDC to make their argument, seeing what we know, see what unfolding now, do they have that bearing to do that?
Oh yeah, Mr. So here's the thing. This is the right time to start that fight. Because if they fight and settle it, when you come out, you're strong. But if they don't do it and wait to the campaign time, then there will be a serious problem. And I can say that because I follow these groups. The fight is between the Baka group and the communist group now. That is the fight.
Why are these 2 groups so see one another? One is an experienced guy who been in government for the long years,
and one is a business guy.
One is a business tycoon, maybe from Wall Street or corporate Liberia.
Yeah. So
I use it. Where you coming from that idea that Cummings is a business guy?
I'm just saying what people are saying. I wish to talk to the man from the corporate world. So
he come from the corporate world.
He's in the corporate world. I don't know why he's a business guy.
Okay, but he come from the corporate world. So that is the fight now between the corporate world and the experienced Ford pickup, 1945 and 1937 or 1947 Ford pickup, because those cars were built with real steel. Well, now it's not rubber now. So they say that.
Who's that description going to?
Somebody said well between the Sierra Leonean faction and it was between the Sierra Leone and United States fighting the war in Liberia.
Well, I don't know about that. I ain't got no rational. But
all right, I just
here, and we're seeing another fact. So it's almost like a Republican Party. You have a certain segment of this group, another group supporting this.
Lechini and the Republican.
What's happening? They're trying to kick on. I'm wondering that there are other folks who are sympathizers of Darrell Dillon, the Putin. We're also hearing from our conference sources that Nyong'li Kanga Lauren more or less is eyeing to be the #2 president. I don't know how that coalition going to look like. We're hearing that they're going to be having a conventions or not? Is that convention or what's it? Yeah, convention.
So,
no, but the thing here, do they have the political tolerance? Alexander Kuhlman was unable to handle what unfolded in Nima County, and I can say is one of the components that led Jeremiah Kuhn from the coalition, Prince Johnson side, to win. Because if you're coming together as a coalition, I think there must be an extensive conversation and find a candidate who best suited or who is a winnable candidate to kind of form that sort of coalition. That did not happen.
Yeah,
you have a certain faction segments of the Alexander group people, Alexander Cummings people, they were all the darlings of Tai Wongwe. And so when Tai Wongwe, when it didn't go well, Tai Wongwe decided to go solo on his own, and it cost us vote to either Gongwa, for which at the end of the day, the very people they were going against politically, they end up being the direct beneficiary. So
Yes,
do you think these people have a political tolerance, as Professor and Emma, knowing their past history, to come together? That's whether it's from now to 2023. Are they on the right path?
I don't think so. And I think it'll be good for them to go separate. I will encourage them to go separate.
Because
Look, let me tell you,
it want to benefit you if you go separate. You want to bring. So who you going to bring?
Let me tell you, here's the problem I have. If Cummings goes with them, there are questions. Look, there are questions that Cummings will have to answer. Cummings could not endorse any of the two parties after the first round of elections, right? He said he represented the whole order.
Is that hurt to him in his political career? Is there a big right to him?
Oh yeah, he couldn't. And now what has changed? Joseph Boakai has not done anything new since he left office. If he could not support Boakai at that time, what is going to cause him to support Boakai now? What kind of transformation has Boakai gone on one? So what is it? So it'll be contradictory.
Let's throw this kitchen sink at Amos George here, and let's see what his analysis is going to be. Mr. George, it seems the professor argument here seems to be in line. There's some sort of bad blood here politically existed in the past, and it's still coming back to life. It's been resurrected like Lazarus now. That the ANC folks or the Unity Party people, they are unhappy because Cummings did not give the support maybe at the time Boycott needed, and they still feels within themselves it causes political harm to the Unity Party people. That is still within them. I don't think they have let that go.
Oh yeah, but Professor, what you said is right. From the beginning, when I heard of that coalition, I spoke to some people. I said that was the wrong decision from Cummings to make. But I said then, if you look at it politically, because no political party in Liberia, then since this modern day, has been able to win 50 plus 1% of the vote. I said, well, even with the popularity of CDC, they got 35% of the vote. So you have to merge with some people. But the point here is not what is happening now is that the rivalry, that blood is that Cummings did not support Boakai then during the final. And Cummings stated his reason. So, well, sometimes politicians bury these things to move forward. But in the background, this thing is still there, and we're seeing it now playing out. You know, the party people are saying, hey, and Omen Boakai himself saying he's the best person to rule Liberia. But then, after for the somewhat year in government, what is the transformation that this man led to Liberia? What is the potential? What is vision for the future?
Is there any other person within the Unity Party camp, Mr. George?
But that is the problem. Someone are saying, with all respect to Omen Boakai, some of the world we cannot say something about him, but with all due respect, I think Omen Boakai.
Why you can say? What is the hidden?
No, I respect the man. We are all people. I mean, we are that those I was seeing on certain time. Anything. Just have professors I would not want to describe him. I said that, so I don't want to refer to him or call him certain name. But I think that he should be now in the background to nurture the young people. The problem there is Benin Nigeria. I told you before, Benin Nigeria is one of the trouble because in our whole coalition, the Liberian people have ruled Benin Nigeria out already. So now you see that he and Cummings cannot get along. There's ego that was between he and Cummings. So the when he found out, he said, "Oh, this is the senior. This is our tradition. The senior got to eat first." That's why he want to go in behind Boakai, so they can push the ANC people out. That is the rivalry now. Is in within this the CPP. But as we going forward,
let me
just throw in a joke. Mr. So, did you see the vice president taking that shot?
Vice president.
Shot. Did you see the vice president?
Vice president? Joel?
No, Joseph Boakai. The former vice. Did you see her COVID shot? Look for it. Professor Zawo. I don't know who is the vice in the Omen. The Omen took a whole shot. open the whole shirt, the arm down before they get the vaccine. I said, oh man, like this, the shirt wide open. I don't know what they're there for.
But they took the woman at a beach party at that time. They were wearing swimming something.
So look,
Are they trying to show this sort of exhibition? I saw some posting here. Are they trying to show his political strength? Is
No, they're trying to show that he's healthy.
He's healthy? Is that what they're trying to project?
He's healthy. He's strong. But here's the thing. I'll be very honest with you. Look, am I bringing money to Liberia? Look, if Joseph Boyka could be like that, we just start planning a state funeral. And that might bring some money. They might bring a lot of.
Professor, your friend will call you tonight.
Besides that, this is my worry. This is my worry. I'm not sure. This is my worry. And I'm trying to make an educated guess here. I feel there are some hidden hands that are behind Joseph Boyka, that if Joseph Boyka is sent to power tomorrow, these people, Boyka might not be in the position to contain these people. And we're going to be coming back to talk the same thing that we are talking about George Weah with certain elements, and we blame. And it will just give her a headache and headache. That is my fear.
Well, you don't want to name people, but I can name some people definitely. The lives of George Lobo, Henry Costa, Mo Ali, Gafunden, they will run that country. If Boyka became
Gaia family.
They will run that country. Let me tell you straight up.
They will run
the country.
I'm not sure you're going to be putting. I'm not sure when Boyka win that country. What's the guy? Mo Ali will be given a situation that he can handle.
Professor,
oh my goodness!
What are you giving us, Professor Zaro? Let me tell you this. What are you giving a situation he can handle? This man is the Secretary General of the party.
So
if they win, Professor, you know the party business. If they win, these are the guys who will go to list of cabinet ministers.
I think there was a post he did resign, but I don't know what a Unity Party executive have ever addressed, or even the opposition. I don't know whether they ever addressed this thing. This is part of the problem that we have. Let me see
Which thing?
This whole Mo Ali thing.
No, there's a Mo Ali thing. Now he said he was staying away. He was giving himself leave to.
That's not. It doesn't address it. That's a salad dressing. I'm asking whether the opposition effectively also put a message out there as people who want state power and transparency in government, and to reassure people too that okay, this is all breaking. And everything we're talking about, and people are giving the same old justifications of people action. That's why we saw flooding, and I think that is unfair. You know, in as much we go into the toenails of the ruling establishment, these people also looking for state power. Their heads, they must be responsible in decision making.
I don't know what you want from the United Party in this situation. The man made it very clear that's a situation he cannot handle, and United Party can't do anything. They know the answer.
No. Professor,
oh my goodness.
The party should like issue a statement, even if one line to say, look, yes, it was a private affair, but with the position of this man for ethical issues and other things, we condemn such a situation, and we ask him maybe to apologize publicly and say, the party can just sit and say
another faction group of the CPP, the COP, yes, they call the other number I was trying to pick up. Call the LPR number.
The party is supposed to come up with some statement.
Say what?
It was the private issue, but once it surfaced in the domain of the public, and he faced being the Secretary General of the party should have come with a statement.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, because he was even inviting a young lady to come to the party new headquarters.
The party should have come out with some statement to condemn his action. You know?
I got you. He was inviting a young woman to come to the new headquarters, the Bella Casa Hotel. So, who knows? What's going on?
Okay, let me go to Mason and see where he's talking before and not going. Hello, Mason, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Mr. So. How you doing today?
Yeah, good evening and welcome. Go ahead.
Mr. So, I kind of think people are trying to prejudge something. CDC, the ruling party, has been together in a coalition for 3 years and see where they are. They are falling apart. Right now, we are trying to say the political parties here that want to be president shouldn't complain, I mean, shouldn't campaign for themselves. That's not fair. We are in a civilized country, in a very democratic country, where we see that when they go to the convention, they have sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7 senators, all of them in the convention fighting to be president. By the time they hit, because by the time they hit the constitutional convention, one person step up and take the place. This is what we need to be encouraging CPP to do. Let all of them campaign. Let everybody, not only the full political head, but open it to other people within the CPP that want to be president of our country. People who are qualified, let them come. Let them put a bid in. If they can win it, fine. But that's how democracy works.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure there has been a law in our political system here, because people who tend to have the loud voice, or people who seems to be the creator or organizer, they are the only people given the leverage. So as a result, you would never discover another potential within the system. So those people are being kept down.
I agree with you, but that's why we need to be pushing CPP to do the same. Look at the coalition. When CDC merged with the other political parties, merged with one head, John William must be the Senate bearer or nobody else. So everybody came agreeing that John William must be the Senate bearer.
Look, so probably there was a political consensus, and they end up giving it to the next party.
There was not a consensus, because according to Councilor Verdi,
now it's time to see actually put the tower in. He and Cummings fighting. They're not fighting, they're competing for a position. And you don't expect Joseph Barker to say, hey, I will lose to Cummings. And you don't expect Cummings to say, I will lose to Joseph Barker. No. Everybody going there to play. It's like when Barrow and I go on the field to play. Nobody was Barrow now said so they'll go lose. So they'll everybody wants to be the top.
Okay. All right, my man. Thank you so much.
That's why we need to promote in our country is the political freedom to allow other people to throw in the tower and run.
Are you providing consultancy to the collaboration, or what?
No, I'm not providing consultancy to them, and that's and I agree with my George that they are hurting themselves, and it's because they do not know when to
speak right now. This is the right time to fight. They got
the same problem with CDC.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You know what people feel to Mr. So, let me tell you something. What people ignore is that, look, let's get on the serious note. When you in Liberia, we really don't have a lot of political parties, if we have any. Those are all things that are driven by, they are just driven by one individual. You get the ANC driven by Cummings' ambition to be president. Right now, the Unity Party is driven by Joseph Barker's ambition to be president, and that's it.
And what's about the other side?
CDC was driven by George Weah.
CDC was organized to promote the political ambition of George Weah, but CDC has morphed into being a political party because George Weah doesn't make all the decisions in CDC. You understand? He doesn't. Contrary to what people think, there are debates and discussions held within CDC. Because it began to attract a broad spectrum of people. You know, CDC, you have people who are, like for me, I'm from the left end of the CDC. I don't know whether you have, good 2 to 3% of the CDC who share my real political economic perspective. I don't know whether you have that. So, and then you have people on the right side, you got people in the middle and all of those things. So that a lot of discussions can take place. But here's the thing about Liberia. When you are forming coalition, especially when you are seeking power, the cohesiveness of the coalition, if I can speak that way, is extremely important in inception. You know, do you remember this group they call Alliance of Political Party, APD? The APD was a group that was supposed to comprise of Liberty Party, not Liberty Party, Liberian Action Party, LAP, Unity Party, LPP, UPP, PPP, and a whole lot of other groups. They were supposed to form the Alliance of Political Party and were supposed to compete under one umbrella against Charles Taylor. You remember that?
Yes.
It was the convention, and Watterson.
Quentin Watterson.
Senate bearer. And Larry took by as his vice Senate bearer. What happened at the end of the day? What happened? UPP went alone, LPP went alone, and all of them went alone. So the kind of cohesiveness that the coalition will have now, she will tell you that come what, October, November, whatever time we're going to have the elections, they might all be going as one institution, or they might be going as separate institutions. And from the way
is anybody politically infiltrating other side, either the coalition?
No, I don't think it's infiltration. It's because of the way the institutions were developed. These are not, look, for example, you know, the Nigerian model when we're in at a university, we criticize it because our professors told us it's like you forcing the people into two baskets, or social democrat and Democrat or Republicans. But you know, looking at it, we got to think about what Liberians are. We got to start thinking what this kind of model works for Liberia. But here's the thing: the way the political institutions in Liberia, I won't call them political institutions. The way they are formed is by one person's ambition. For example, you remember I wasn't in CDC then, but I was told there were CDCians who refused to vote for CDC when Winston Tubman was made the standard bearer, because the whole idea was that George Weah had to be the standard bearer always. So they refused to vote. They refused to participate in that particular elections. So there will be people from the communist end who will under no condition support Joseph Boyka. And there will be people from the Joseph Boyka end who will under no condition support who may. Now, with the kind of tension that is taking place right now, it will only solidify those people in their myopic and divisive thoughts. And so to bring them together up, like Mason is trying to say right now, they are doing what the people do in America. America is a civilized country.
They don't do people. I don't even trust that.
America is a civilized country. The electricity have been tested and tried. That's not Liberia. Liberians when in Liberia normally when you are in
I can be his chest. I'm the only experiment, and humans can come. I don't want to be the number two. So that mindset is already built within. I have to get this, and they have their supporters who are telling them, playing devil's standard game and say, go, you can do it.
And here's the point, Professor. Let me just add to that point. Because the system is always built around individual. Not we don't build system, we build around individual. So this is the problem. And sometimes they cannot call on our leader to say, you know what happened? This one here? No, it's not like that. Now, we're talking about that woman Boyka. You see how some people go on the lynch. Even with what of that administration did, people today, supporters still cannot accept mistakes. They cannot accept that some things went wrong within the administration.
Yeah,
they try. They don't even to say, oh yeah, something happened. No, but they come to say, no, everything was good, and this man is the only person who can lead this country. Now, when you see people like that with those kind of opinion, then something is wrong somewhere. And secondly, some people, we always try to push this tribal line. We hear people talking it. So it get to me, people, the males are indigenous. So then the question I ask myself, who is not indigenous in Liberia now? You're born in Liberia.
So let me ask this question before we wrap up here. And I hope, because George Global promised me Boyka are going to come here. George Global promised me when you were campaigning for Delon, even though I had an interaction with Delon, it has never happened. And all of these politicians, they are very selective because they know where they want to go, and they know that there are certain questions will be avoided, and there are certain things. So cleverly, they are smart in doing that. But do you think Joseph Boyka, Ambassador Joseph Boyka, will apologize to just only say I was packed? It's insufficient. It's inconclusive. Where were you packed? Was it in the first 6 years or the last 12 years? Are you willing to accept responsibility like he alluded, the squander? Is he accepting the responsibility, or is this game being shifted on Helen Johnson Sirleaf alone? What is wrong? He needs to come clean. But his people too, they are, they're taking it like the Democratic Party here with Hillary Clinton, experience, 40 years, counting all his ministerials and directors, tactical position. He represented a country in so many fronts, over 50 or so more traveling this guy did on Helen Johnson's leave. So those sort of a proxy what he was doing. So what was it like? What was it look like? Does it really need to come out to George? Does it need to come out to take responsibility as well, or we're just going to just dance around this and just only throw it on Helen Johnson's leave?
No, he cannot throw it on Ellen Johnson's leave. Yeah, it's the reality. Ambassador Barker had thrown himself already under the bus. He cannot take it back. If he take it back, there will be a blowback because we'll still continue to ask this question. And here's the thing here. Anytime, vice president, you separate yourself from the president, you have a serious problem. We saw here Al Gore. When he separated himself for Bill Clinton, but that Magnitsky case.
You were with me, you won't say it.
He lost that election. What I expected Joseph Barker to do from the onset was to say, hey, yes, there was some missed opportunity, but this is the positive thing that we did. But instead of that, he distanced himself from Ellen Johnson.
Yeah, I take responsibility as well. Yes. Our politicians, they do not have the courage to even admit to say sorry. Everybody put an iron fist to say no. And that's a
simple thing. Just to come out and say, look, you know what, we made some mistake, and we take full responsibility. Like people, our mistake, we now know what we made mistake, we can move on, we'll correct it. If you this, we'll do it this way. That's just alone. But when you say that, no, what happened or just that person, this man represented Liberia on 40 occasions across the world.
Yeah, he was packed. And yet he's making the argument he was packed. So why was he packed? Professor, carry on.
Let me tell you something. Look, the problem I have with Joseph Boyka has almost nothing to do with the time he spent as vice president of Liberia. The problem I have with Vice President Boyka's performance is what he did at LPMC and at the Ministry of Agriculture. That's a very important sector. And he has nothing that he can point to that he did there. And I've done some research. I've followed some of the people that Ambassador Boyka worked with at LPMC, at the Ministry of Agriculture. And every one of those people that I spoke with, most of the people I spoke with, have not, provided me any reason to believe that Vice President Boyka is an effective individual. And you look at our agriculture sector, he was Minister of Agriculture, I think twice.
LPMC twice. You were fired, you were brought back there. Get a back on my from a foreign ministry.
Yeah. So what can he show? What area can he show? He alluded to the fact that he was parked for 12 years or 6 years, whatever you want to say. And then the prior to that, he had no evidence of performance. Absolutely nothing, zero. And so that's a problem I have with him. But again, yes, I tell you, I don't want to, and I'm not a political consultant, but I think if the CPP wanted to make sense, I think they should listen to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It's time to pass the baton. So Comey should retire, come back to help the people of Atlanta. Like I always say, and sometimes people want to take it out. No, Atlanta has a lot of issues, and that he can be a great help to the people of Atlanta, his home, and come back here, and then also lend his support to Liberia whenever he can. And then
in Maryland, your home?
Maryland? I'm not an American, I'm a Liberian.
Okay.
So Comey is not a Liberian?
Let me say something here. Look, when it comes to Vice President Boyka, I think he's supposed to, at this time, begin to start writing his memoir, enjoying his grandchildren.
To start doing his book.
Yeah, because look, pass the baton. It would be good to put Jeke Koluba as vice president or president, and let the young people, let the other guys then come and try.
That's a reservation. And I told George Lobo this thing here. This man, he works all these years in government. And I know there's an argument. Other people say there are people stay here, McCain, Ted Kennedy, this and that. Okay, that's okay. But we saw the work of these people. Now, how do they expect the young generation to come out? If you will still be in that sort of maneuver age still, how do we expect these political institutions when these people are not willing to spot the young generation to come in to say, yet our time has faded away significantly, it's time to bring the young people to mentor the guys. Time has caught up with us. Yeah, Joyce, 1 minute, make your final closing argument.
If I make my final comments, Mr. Professor Zawa, I got 2 questions for you.
Why you want to start? Where the question coming from?
Do you believe that Alexander Cummings is a Liberian?
With me?
Uh-huh.
Me?
And secondly, do you believe he's a Liberian? And secondly, do you believe that he was born in Liberia?
I believe Donald Trump is an American.
I say Alexander Cummings. Do you believe he's a Liberian? And secondly, do you believe that he was born in Liberia?
I don't know where he was born.
But do you believe he's a Liberian?
I know he's from Georgia, United States.
No,
that's not an answer. Do you believe he's your Liberian?
Is that Cummings?
Yeah.
I told you this guy is I told you he's a diplomat. I don't know why
but he's not answering the question. That's a direct. I say who
you have U.S. citizenship.
Okay. No, I'm asking because you're trying to insinuate something. That's why I'm asking you. And you know exactly
if I'm insinuating, then you got it.
No, that's why I tried to ask you.
No, but
so you can make clarity. Do you believe is he a Liberian?
Is it possible for George Bush to be a Liberian American?
I know. I answer for George Bush.
Guys, let's go to our final statement. We will continue that. Hopefully, you will answer that. Sunday, I think you started the chat room. I said I think you're starting in the chat room. Sunday, Minister Zoka Wilson going to be here at 4 o'clock, so maybe we can start a commentary before that time. Okay, Pa George, 1 minute, make your remark, and I'll go to Professor before
let me
your final statement.
To the Liberian people, some all can talk and talk, but you will have to make that decision. It is your choice. If you believe that this present government, your living condition has changed, improved, 2022, you will make that decision. And I just want to say to the Liberian people, we will continue to do what we can do in a very constructive and positive manner. We respect everybody's views, and I think that's the way we should go. So I just want to say thank you to LPR and Professor Zawo. I think the Liberal is following the show. He said he's off now. Well, I don't know. He told me the professor had been chasing him all around, or the professor won't carry him to get by the mountain. I don't know, or my giving in the giving mountain. I don't know what professor want behind the man yet. So
the Liberal is on tip, but we'll wait until he comes here and so I'll play the Liberal. You know, the Liberal was on tip today. Let's leave that. When he comes here, let's leave it. Let's let it go. Professor, what's your final statement?
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. So. Thank you, Mr. George. You know, the Liberal has done something that is very good. Are we making that announcement tomorrow in Liberia? The Liberal have volunteered. On a serious note, the Liberal Progressive have offered to help me introduce surveying as a discipline at my school in Kakata.
Oh, okay.
So we will be unleashing that for the next school year. Hopefully, if we can get, the necessary thing. And that's a very important thing, Mr. Josh.
He's willing to work. He's a nice guy.
That is very brilliant.
That was solve the problem of Jabatet. That was solve the problem of Jabatet because they're going to be learning how to survey. No, seriously. And then because we need more surveyors in the country who are trained to go and do this.
Jabatet is one of your own. He's still a sedition, or where is he?
He said, in that he said he suspended his political activity because he had lost some capital.
That's why some of us, this whole party business, we left it. I remember one of these parties, those that went on a campaign in Nima, that man, acid water almost damaged people. There's a lady today. And of these institutions, they fail to have to be organized, to stand as an institution, to have principle, and it's nothing like that. So it's just a complete waste of time.
It depends what people join political party for to end.
Yeah.
If you
so I see people nowadays, by the time you go low today, they will CDC. The next day they go to this 1 year. The next day, these people, they are all intrinsic. They are all hustling. That's just all about it.
That's
Believe
why
me, what happens today, anything changes 2023, they all going to come and they will start giving reason why they were. That's nonsense, bullshit. Okay, guys.
That's why most of them think that some of us are driven by that. We want jobs. So you can't be, because their mindset is what they assume that other people have. You know, and so they always say, oh, this guy is doing it to be a minister. He's doing it because of his thing. And
What are all these parties for? I know the essence of democracy, but Liberia, 4, 3 plus 11, and the People Liberation Party now. I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of months you're going to see a party, because all of these people are looking for political accommodations at the end of the day.
Relevant.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
That's the problem, but and he won't be president.
I want to be president.
Yeah.
All right. You don't want to be like John Casey. John Casey went to the presidency. He didn't work. He went to a home state of Ohio. He became governor. While some of these people can't even take a shot at Maserado, Maryland, and all of those places. You don't have to be an executive. Strengthen the first branch of government, and you hold the executive branch of government responsible. Complete. Oh, my goodness. Guys, gentlemen, thank you so much, and have a pleasant weekend. Okay, well, folks, in Radio Land, time has caught up with us here. It's 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. To our viewers and listeners, we want to thank you so much. On Sunday, we're going to be hosting Minister D. Zioka Wosing. Let's see what happened with the whole sports complex scenario. Is anybody can be held accountable? What really happened? We're going to be hearing from the minister directly. The visit of CAF and FIFA president. Is that I put the end to this whole jamboree of this conversation? What? We're going to be digging a little bit further than that, and we'll be hearing directly from the house's mouth. What I want to thank all of you folks, Jonathan, Alice, Goins, Betty Tate, and Isaac, and Eric. Yeah, Eric did an excellent tweet here. The former vice president made it worse by saying he's living on loan after being paid for over $2 million in the last 12 years as VP. This shows the effect of his age as kid like Mo, Hendrent, etc. pushing him. Okay, I'm not know who's pushing him that I speak to, but to say that he was living on loan. So it shows this is a clear and classical evidence of our politicians and some of these stakeholders, their unwillingness to have advisors or good media consultant that before they put anything out within the public domain, it's restructured, it's remade, it's reviewed. The thing they are there so they can be corrected. And that's why we are having all of these problems. Nobody wants to have an advisor. Nobody wants to have somebody as a counsel. Why do you think lawyers have lawyers? The need, and that's the lack of political tolerance in our politicians. I mean, that's just about it. They know all now. Nobody cannot advise them. And that's why the public relations aspect, because that's the messaging of your whole thing. And that's why when I saw what I call that chit-chat with Costa, I was so disappointed. As a former vice president, his sitting position, his presentations, it was very unattractive, knowing that thousands and thousands of people are going to be watching. I thought his media people were better positioned, well-dressed. The flag of the Republic of Liberia should be by his side. Be more presidential. Give a convincing point that you are ready to lead. It wasn't happy. He was sitting down like that, Henry, and nobody would get the guts to tell him it is wrong, you need to do it better. Instead, they share him, and that's how, and not only he alone. All of these people, they share these people from certain platform. Don't go to this, don't go to this. It's a wrong public relations aspect. If you know Costa, for example, in your seditions, you know Michael Gilmer is one of your own. Why waste time go there? Go somewhere where you're going to attract people. But unfortunately, they lack the political will and tolerance. That's how we're going to leave it here this evening, folks. I want to thank you so much for sharing your evening with us. Until then, I'm Afonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is our take-home song for the rest of the evening. Have a pleasant evening.
Hallelujah.
This is Lpr-Tv with Afonso Z and Soul, live from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. In today's discussion, we will highlight high-call issues from the motherland, Republic of Liberia, and issues affecting our community. Asking tough questions is vital to me to have my listeners and viewers informed with the sole purpose of demanding answers that are authentic and meant to be head-scratching situation. Oh yes, to add pageantry to the conversation, senior analysts and contributors of the Liberia Public Radio are here to dissect the conversation. From Baltimore, senior analyst Professor Asese Labozawo, CEO, Real Academy and Gideon's Polytechnic Academy in Liberia. Senior contributor Amos George is in Atlanta, Georgia, a critical thinker and critic of the GOL, and opposition Lpr-Tv foreign affairs analyst Leo Johnson's executive director, Empowerment Square, based in Canada, and president, Liberian community in Canada. And on the radar is Lpr-Tv, liberal progressive, and host conversations with Sam Saint Blockul Bronto in Studio B in Saxton, Sacramento, California, is also on the radar. And of course, the doyen, former state broadcaster at ELBC and ELWA, and former presidential aspirant, Republic of Liberia, James Gamia, is based in the Garden City of New Jersey, is here. I am your host and anchor, Afonso Zienso, of the New England Bureau Desk of the Liberia Public Radio. Come, let's join the talking point, fair, balance, and objectives in
What happened to my let's so money? What happened?
What is that? You didn't know? You better put it there. I know. You didn't know?
Small one go put it here.
You don't know the money you take from Clay. Put it there.
Suma, you stupid. Oh. Ah, you happy?
What do you mean by not happy? You make it busy. You say eat or what? I tell a fool I eat it. And I worry that then you got your money on behalf of somebody to me. How do you appear that time?
You have a great deal of money or else police are going to pay for you.
Look at you didn't have police afraid to? You didn't have police afraid to?
Honey,
you didn't have police
honey, who is this little loquacious organism making noise in my vicinity?
None is there, you so far. Look at you tell this character you that your vicinity. And why Jana?
Shut up. She's my wife. Honey, who is this Asian Australopithecus?
Funny game, I lost or complain to you. Ever one Suma the fellow at my ear and worry like he don't want yet.
I always told you to know better. You have to study human characteristics in order to know who to carry your eat and worry. Because humans are diversified. Now you listen to me.
No, I will not listen. I will not listen to you. I will not listen to you.
Shut up.
I will not listen to you. I will not shut up.
I want you to forget my vicinity.
That's your packet. You tell this guy that your packet. Look, I tell this guy to you. You bring it to me. I'll give it to you.
The next time I see you here, I will dismantle the demonic joints.
That your demonic joint you. That demonic joint. That will go come up. Now, God, you will stop.
Nonsense. Little loquacious organism.
Oh, this is about the male offspring of my parent. What is the problem that you have brought for me again today?
Ain't no that one there. The one working said eat or what it. She say, oh, market eat or what you can eat and you what it before you pay. She go take money from Chris. That's why I go take the money for the money penny. I go see one day I saw him. Does he know what he say about you? He said, why is that a player who is on Liverpool? He doesn't know nothing. He's a busy borrow. He said, it's a seat to go on we go.
Who is he?
I doesn't know him at all.
No, I mean, who is he to oppose to my intellectual ability? In this case, I'm going to academically castrate him
Very cool.
I will frustrate him.
That's what I'm talking about. That goes so you can't get it.
Then I disgrace what I disgrace him.
Yeah, that go.
We shall be going now. We shall be going.
Does he know what I mean for I mean to do I do say you nigga poo? That goes so you can't get it to him.
In this letter, I have to go along with my lexicons.
Yeah. Whatever problem you not have paper.
In this case, when the case is so serious to the extent that it's serious, there's no slip up. Let's go.
Well, that go. You know what I mean for somebody that I say you are a nigga poo? Either way. Either way.
What be eh? What be?
Can't get my money.
Money can't see something here.
There's Homo erectus is here again.
I got money. You get it? Give it to him.
I heard that you articulated some negative words against me, so I'm here for response.
That was some level of fabrication. You should have asked my biological nomenclature before propounding and elucidating at me.
In this case, your nomenclature does not have anything to do with the essentiality of the matter.
Very good. Give it to him.
For I always told people, the actual comes from the actuality.
Okay.
The actuality, it can give you the reality.
Okay.
The reality has to do with the possibility and your capability.
Okay.
That is a capability that you are lack of. That is why you are a parasitic Homo sapien who is dwelling on this female Homo sapien because she is financially upward because of it and worry.
Very cool. Give it to him.
Now, my young man, listen to me. If only I have not thought on one thing.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make it This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever.